way in the 7A. They were able to upset the Dallas HSAA, probably considered one of the top 2 threats to win the Undisputed this year. But MHEA, even though they lost those 6 seniors last year, gone are some of the names that we got used to, like Lindsey Vaughn and some of that crew. But wow, here they are once again. No Annalise Burnett, no Katie Few, Lindsey Vaughn. Some of those players are gone now, but this is a program that knows how to win, and it's just in their DNA. They won earlier this morning their 16U championship over the OKC Storm, and now going for the Undisputed Girls 18U title.
So we start the ball with the Eagles winning the tip.
Through the hands of Clark there.
3-pointer up on the way and short. Offensive rebound secured and up fake, but travel first called. That was on Sierra Hedquist.
Yeah, Hedquist there had good vantage point to be able to go in for a shot, but shuffled her feet and gets called on the turnover. A little bit of early game jitters. Dallas with the press. MHEA from the corner.
Jumper too strong. Rebound secured by Grace Dillingham.
MHEA back on the defense. Neither team has scored. Dallas going to be deliberate here, it looks like. Take their time. Patient on offense. Run their center.
Hedquist on the drive. Reverse layup, no good. And Clark tips it away to her teammate, Julia Nicholson.
Nicholson with a huge game yesterday. She was able to sink a free throw with less than 20 seconds left to give her team the lead and ultimately the win to advance to this game today.
Ball into Clark. She puts it up, no good. Gets her own rebound, throws it up, no good.
I'd like to have seen her come down and then reset there, but tried to get the quick back.
On the drive, up and fouled.
Jane Carr, she does such a great job forcing the tempo. Looked up ahead when her teammate threw the ball to her. Not content to pull the ball out and take her time. She drives straight in and draws the contact and the foul.
Number 25, Jane Carr.
Free throw in and out. Well, I guess these rims are just about used up after all of today's action.
Yeah, they're going to get paid overtime because we've had 3 total overtimes here just in the last 2 games.
But she gets the Thunder on the board. They have a 1-0 lead. Baseline kick, no good.
A little bit of an errant pass there. She drove the baseline and tried to feed Clark inside the lane, but Thunder well aware that was coming and be able to come away with the turnover. Dallas likes to work the ball out top and then drive the lane, what you see here.
Yeah, great move from Hedquist. First field goal made in the game.
She's the Big South Post Player of the Year, and you can see why. She really, once she gets in the paint, she's deadly.
A little too much mustard on the pass, and that's going to end up in a turnover in the corner, back the way of the Thunder.
Yeah, MHEA, a couple of passes that just weren't on.
3-pointer is up and good for Grace Dillingham, and it's a quick 6-0 lead.
She's the sharpshooter of the Big South, and flexing those outside muscles there, and all of a sudden it's 6-0 quickly.
Stolen away again. MHEA having trouble finding the room.
MHEA pretty young right now, and some of those passes you can tell.
Wow, big time shot right off the bat from Jane Carr. 9-0 lead. The Eagles will want to talk about it as their trail almost double digits. 30-second timeout, less than 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, the Thunder have come out and they've just really imposed their will. Most of it really has started, Paul, on the defensive end. They've been able to cut into the passing lanes. MHEA, some sloppy passes, maybe some jitters. I mean, they're young. They've got a freshman point guard and, trying to settle down just a little bit. But you look up at the scoreboard with a 9-0 lead, and Dallas is not the kind of team you want to have to make a comeback against. They've got height. They've got experience. They've got some juniors and seniors that have been pretty deep into this tournament. And so while MHEA has a strong powerhouse name, they've still got some young players that haven't really been in this situation before.
And now the Thunder open up in a full court press. We'll see how the Eagles handle that.
Good job by MHEA to settle that down. Molesky, we saw her brother playing earlier with the Nighthawks. She had an older sister that played as well. And they seem down in Memphis to be able to produce those point guards.
Yeah, you had talked about Vaughn playing for the Nighthawks as well. I remember Lindsey Vaughn playing for the Eagles.
Yep.
Three-pointer is up and good.
Love the fire. Scarlett Guess yesterday connected on a couple of shots outside, and same way, just got her team fired up and got them back into the game. Good defensive pressure there by Nicholson.
Hedquist in the corner. Three-pointer is up. Too strong off the backboard. Clark gets the rebound, and she's going to be fouled.
Yeah, Sebring took that shot. She was a good 3-4 feet behind the three-point line. I was surprised she took that from there. She had the ability to drive, but didn't do it. And then Clark is so strong inside. Clark played, she was the 6th, 7th player for that last year's team that won back-to-back Undisputed. It's going for their 3rd today.
Clark putting it up, no good.
And that's her game.
She was fouled.
That's her game. She's going to force the issue. She's going to take the ball. A lot of times they like to set her up around the free throw line and run the offense through her. And then when she can, she likes to drive, draw the contact. She's strong enough sometimes to finish. And so they look for them to continue to go to her there inside the lane.
Free throw is good for Clark.
Coming into the game for the Thunder, number 33.
And she's already played in this gym today.
Yeah.
Actually, several of these Eagle girls have.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you look down their roster, I think I counted 9 different players that were on the 16U Undisputed National Championship team that played this morning here.
Looking to make it 2.
This is the big one, though, 18U. I've seen Carr have to pull it out when she wants to drive, and Thunder having to be patient here.
On the drive, Sebring, no good. And we're going to have a jump ball.
Hedquist and Sebring really have the ball in their hands a lot on these possessions. Going to need to get some more motion and get some of the other players involved. I know that they've just taken out one of their big ones, Leininger, but maybe settling her down, and then they'll get her back here in here shortly.
Hedquist on the drive, poked away by Clark, but it'll stay with the Thunder.
MHEA seems to have settled down. They were down 9-0, but now they're on a 5-0 run. Defense really ramping up. Same thing happened yesterday. They got to a slow start against the Blazers, but then it was a shot by Guess outside. She hit a 3, and then they had another player connect on a 3 and was able to get the ball going for their team. And now on defense, it seems to have given them energy there as well.
That ball is blocked.
That was Molesky. The freshman point guard gets in the face there of Jane Carr and blocks the ball.
Fearless. Eagles work the ball around the horn. Inside, layup, no good.
Little strong.
Clark comes up with the rebound. Jumper, no good. And that time the rebound is secured by Dillingham.
Nicholson's so good around the basket. That time she missed the first shot down low and then stepped out to the free throw line. The little elbow jumper, neither one could fall though.
Sebring laid it up, no good.
Yeah, Sebring likes to drive. She could have taken maybe one more dribble in and gotten closer to that shot, but MHEA now with a chance to cut that lead again and continue their 5-0 run.
Nicholson.
Paul, I didn't see it, but I'm wondering if there was, she's getting ready to come back in, but Leininger either was winded or had some foul trouble there.
Three-pointer in and out. Ball still tipping around, and it'll go back to the Thunder as it was out on Nicholson.
Yeah, and that time that was Camille Clark that kept the ball active there. She was able to tip the ball, try to get it to her teammate, but it rolled out of bounds off of one of the Eagles. And now here comes the Thunder on the attack. They just brought back in Leininger. Let's see if they can get her involved.
The Thunder have certainly been on a drought in the first quarter after the first couple minutes.
Yeah, And that happens sometimes. You start well, you get a little bit too amped up, and then you look up and unable to score. They've gone at least the last 4 or 5 minutes without scoring.
Yeah, a minute and a half left in the first quarter. Both of these teams are going to have to figure out some logistics before they head to the next one.
MHEA working the ball around the perimeter. That time the ball is tipped, but somehow Molesky came away with it.
Yeah, good job by Molesky to come towards the ball.
Look for the Thunder to use their length to be able to interrupt those passes.
Guess who? Scarlett Guess.
I love it. When she hits a shot, she is yelling and getting her team fired up, and she seems to feed off of that herself. It just makes her better defensively, and all of a sudden it's just a 1-point lead for Dallas.
And she's got such a high arch on her shot that at Central that might have hit the ceiling.
Yeah, absolutely. Shoemaker.
Ball is tipped and stolen away by the Thunder. On the drive, laid it up and blocked was Selly Leininger.
Looked like that actually might have been Malone that took the drive there. Malone had stolen the ball up at the top of the key, and she was unable to convert, and that was because it was blocked by Nicholson. Great job on defense.
That three-pointer no good. Rebound is secured by Dillingham. Hedquist turns around, thought about it. Spins back the other way, 10 seconds to go. She's looking for some help. She's got a wide open lane. She's going to drive it and lay it up too strong. The ball's going to end up in the hands of Taylor Thomas. And that's going to be it for the first quarter. As after one, we have the Dallas Thunder 9 and the MHEA Eagles 8. Back for more first half action after this short break on YouTube.
Real-Time Max is Real-Time's most powerful lotion. Real-Time Max delivers fast pain relief to persistent, intense pain, including deep muscle pain, cramps, and over 100 types of arthritis. Loaded with peppermint, Real-Time Max provides a powerful burst of fast, minty pain relief.
So you have an award there in the cafeteria.
Welcome back to Willard High School, home of the Tigers. As we have a great game so far in the first quarter, the Dallas Thunder lead the Eagles 9-8. My name is Paul Gilmore alongside Scott Staten. Steve Largent on the controls now, as our boys Jeff Ford and Darren Wilkins went to go over to BBC and get everything ready for tomorrow.
Let's see if MHEA now, they had a really slow start, but then after being down 9-0, they go on an 8-0 run to cut it to 1 before the end of that.
Molesky thought about that deep three from the Willard logo.
Thunder had a wide open shot to build that lead, and they missed a layup there as the quarter ended.
We're going to have a travel. It's called on Taylor Thomas. And Caitlin Thomas and Anna Shoemaker will come in.
Boy, they give Coach Guess so many opportunities because these are gals that, like you said, just won the 16U, and Thomas got a great inside game. We're able to take out Nicholson sometimes, or when they keep them both in like they have right now with Guess, just so imposing. Good closeout by Guess there.
Hedquist taking a three, and that's nothing but net. Sierra Hedquist.
Yeah, they hit a couple of those early and then seemed to go away from that. I'm not sure if it was because the Eagles were just applying the defensive pressure, but that time she had enough time to think about it, spot up, put it right through the net. Good feed inside to Nicholson. She goes up with the left hand.
Yep.
Basket good.
First points for Julia Nicholson. Cut the lead back to 2, 12-10.
All regional player, post player. She can play inside that paint.
Three-pointer on the way. No good.
Rebound. Molesky's getting in there.
Yeah, little point guard, but got the heart of a lion. She's in there drilling all the time. The same game yesterday. You can see her going down inside the lane and battling whoever was there for those boards.
Kick into the corner, swinging around the horn. Three-pointer is going to be up and good. Shoemaker gets herself on the board, and the Eagles take the lead 13-12.
Yeah, I'd mentioned her name before when she wasn't in because I knew that they were going to be – she's the kind of player that they bring in and she can hit some of those outside shots, and that time gives her team their first lead of the day.
Step back three-pointer, no good. Rebound Shoemaker, and now the Eagles come the other way.
Seems like the size of Nicholson and Thomas inside really bothering Dallas. They're content to take jump shots rather than feed it inside. I mean, they have some size themselves, but they're unable so far to really take advantage of that.
Three-pointer on the way from Molesky. Molesky no good. Ripped away.
Boy, Guess is a fiery player. She brings energy to this team, and when she starts to hit outside shots, which she's hit a couple, she just raises it another level. Of course, it helps when you have a dad for a coach.
Three-pointer on the way. Scarlett Guess. And since the Thunder led 9-0, the Eagles have been on a 16-3 run, and they now lead 16-12.
Yeah, and 9 of those points are from the hand of Scarlett Guess. And I love how she is her own best cheerleader. Once she hits a shot, I mean, she is pumping her fist and screaming and nothing to show up anyone. She is just fired up, and really her team feeds off of that. And suddenly they see themselves in a 4-point lead. And MHEA, you watch it, Paul, and it's amazing to me how the names change, but they just plug in new people into those parts, and because they come up through such a successful system, even with Tracy Rice leaving, the head coach for so many years, and moving on to the college ranks up in Ohio, they haven't missed a beat. And they started a little bit slow at the beginning of this year. As I mentioned, they lost in the national tip-off tournament to the Blazers in a close game. And then it seems like, as they often do all year, they get better and better and better. They know the system. They know how to work the ball around the perimeter, find the open shot. And now they've got some weapons down low, some size that they're able to work with. And wow, they are really tough right now.
Hedquist will drive and lay it up and in.
Yeah, she just was determined there to get the ball up, and that was a tough shot, but she used the glass well there and cuts the lead down to 2.
A big shot as well, as the Thunder had not scored in a while, but still they trailed just 2.
MHEA once again going inside, but can't get the board.
Molesky with the rebound. Three-pointer on the way, and that's too strong. Grabbed by Malone.
Yeah, Thomas can hit that shot, but she's really made her presence known earlier in this tournament down low.
What a shot by Dillingham, as the ball was kicked to her, and just in stride, she caught it, put it up, and good to tie the ball game.
Yeah, she's able to swing. She plays at wing, at power forward, at small forward. They move her around a lot, and she can shoot. Sharp shooter of the year in her region. It's a big answer for them. Shoemaker almost lost the ball there.
Eagles looking to get the ball inside. It's not been an easy conquest by any means.
Molesky and Thomas, they connect so much on the 16U level, and that time Molesky kind of led her too much, be able to try to feed her down low, as Thomas was trying to seal her defender.
And we've got a hand check foul. I believe they're going to call that on Julia Nicholson. Nope, they called it on Molesky. Not a lot of fouls in this game. 2-2 by my count.
I have to believe when you watch, if you're watching at home, number 11, and the dark uniforms MHEA. Scarlett Guess has been given the assignment of staying in Grace Dillingham's face, and I mean, if it's a timeout, if they're talking, she doesn't leave. She stays within a couple feet of her the entire time.
Drive by Priscilla Sebring, no good. Hedquist will try another three, no good.
She had time to spot up, but couldn't make it go.
And we had a couple of players hit the floor, but it's going to stay with the Thunder.
Yeah, that was tied up there. Jane Carr had the ball, but when she went to the floor, the MHEA player quick to get her hand on the ball and tie things up, but it'll stay here. Boy, all the games so far have just been so close, so evenly matched, and you really couldn't plan a tournament better than this.
Nice inbounds play for Hedquist, and she puts it up to retake the lead for the Thunder, 18-16.
Yeah, that time the Eagle players got tied up a little down low in the traffic, and Hedquist able to take advantage of that on the inbounds pass and put it in.
Yeah, nice move by number 13, Julia Nicholson, as she will take it down and be fouled by Hedquist.
Nicholson's one of those players that grew up in this system because there was so much talent in front of her. You didn't see her on the floor as much in the 18U games, but got a lot of experience down at the 16U, and then, as often happens, just learned that championship personality from her team and her teammates, and now she stepped into that starting role. She is really a force to be reckoned with.
Second free throw, no good, and we're going to have an over the back.
That time looked like the younger Thomas got too aggressive and tried to force the ball out of the hands of the Thunder, and the Thunder had three players there with good position boxing out, so she gets the foul.
And that ball is going to be thrown away.
Seen both teams do that a little, Paul. They've led the player that they were throwing to just a little too much, and they're unable to reach out and get it. That might be the kind of thing where earlier in the season, when you still got all your legs, you're able to step out and get that, and you anticipate them being a little quicker than they are today, playing their potentially 6th or 7th game. And for the MHEA team, up in the teens, because they played in both 16U and 18U.
And they're going to get Hedquist for another foul as the ball was going inside, a little bump.
Yeah, she had her hands on the back of Nicholson, and even though it wasn't a big push, it was enough that the ball shot through her hands and the official saw it. Gave her the personal.
Nice lay up and in by Nicholson.
Yeah, and if you're Dallas there, you've got to deny that entry pass. Once she gets that low to the basket, you're sunk.
Sebring drives to the left.
So far, we haven't seen that either team's roster. They both got full rosters, a lot of players, no injuries to this point that's been able to keep anybody out of the game.
That's a great move by Sierra Hedquist, as she's got 11 points now in the first half.
Back in fourth game, 20-19 now.
Wow, what a move by Nicholson. Had Hedquist draped all over her, and she still was able to wrap it around and lay it up and in.
And she makes it look easy, but Hedquist is a great ball player, and she's not been able to do anything, and now she's got a couple of fouls as well, so you know that's in the back of her head. And when Nicholson gets the ball that low and right down on the post, she knows how to put the ball in the bucket.
And it was big for her not to pick up another foul on that play as well.
Yep. And you got to think, too, she's backing up just a bit, knowing that she's got a couple already.
And we had an Eagle player run into each other.
Yep.
Oh, Hedquist is going to be called for the push-off, and that's her third. That's a big foul.
Yeah, and she absolutely did it there in front of the ref, too. As she drove the lane, Camille Clark, she's so strong. Clark just stepped in front of her, and she could see the contact coming and stuck her elbow out and pushed off, and you can't do that.
Number 25, Jane Carr.
If you're MHEA, that's what you want to see. You can get the other opposing players, one of their best players, on the bench with foul trouble. Now you can attack a little more down low.
So under a minute to play in the first half. And true to form for all the games, as Clark is fouled, we've had back and forth action.
Clark, as we mentioned, she was a key role player on last year's team. Got some valuable experience in that Undisputed game last year on their second of 2 Undisputed championships in a row. They won 3 overall. That time Clark got the ball on the elbow, recognized that she got her defender on her hip and was able to drive and missed the bucket, but got herself to the free throw line.
If you're watching in Memphis or Dallas or anywhere else, we'd like to thank you for joining us on YouTube.
Second shot is good.
Make sure you give us a like, turn on the notifications, as there's still a couple more games to play before this week is over.
Yeah, coming up, we can only hope that 18U game is as good as the one we just had.
Cross the court, and that jumper is going to be up and nothing but net for Layla Sayens.
Boy, Sayens, that's a huge bucket. They had really struggled to score, and they had some foul trouble on one of their key players, Hedquist, and she's able to come in and just drain that 3.
Into Nicholson.
She can go left, she can go right.
And no shot is going to come from the Thunder. So the Eagles, after trailing 9-0, came back to take a big lead, and now it's back the other way, where it's just a 2-point game. Eagles 25, Thunder 23. Back after this halftime break, where we're going to have a girls 14 and under regional, I believe. And we will be back right after this. Welcome back to Willard High School for the final 16 minutes of action in this girls 18 and under Undisputed National Championship as they try to get the ball into Thomas, taken away by the Thunder.
Thunder switched their strategy there, put Sebring down there on the low post to try to bother Nicholson.
Molesky comes up with the ball. First half totals for the Eagles: Camille Clark had 4, Scarlett Guest had 9, Julia Nicholson 9, Anna Shoemaker 3. And for the Thunder, Dillingham had 5, Jane Carr 4, Sierra Hedquist leads all scorers with 11, and Layla Sains had a 3-pointer.
That time Guest had an open look, and right before that Molesky could have driven all the way but kicked it out.
That 3-pointer is going to be tipped and blocked by Clark as Shoemaker put it up. Had a lot of fun during halftime watching the girls 14 and under all-region game.
Yeah, they had the gymnastics going and well thought out cheers, but this one's for all the marbles, so don't look for any funny stuff here.
That ball is going to be out of bounds on the feet of Julia Nicholson.
I like the strategy, the change on defense by Andrea Kendall, trying to disrupt. Nicholson had really dominated down low for MHEA, and so now she puts the smaller, quicker Sebring down low to try to disrupt that, and so far it seems to have worked.
Jumper no good for Shoemaker, and that ball is going to be saved by the Eagles.
You can see Hedquist there had a direct line, but drew back a little because she's in foul trouble and didn't come away with it because a little bit more passive than she probably would have been.
I want to give a quick thanks to Mr. Rick Hulkenberg, who was watching in Dallas, to let us know the scores were flipped on the broadcast.
Although he might have been happy with it.
Yep, we still got the same score we did at halftime, and we're 2 minutes in. Shoemaker's trying to change that. Floater up and good.
Yeah, that was a good.
Or, excuse me, that was Malone.
Good fake.
Oh, Leininger, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong team.
Leininger had faked a three-point shot there, drew the defender, and then once she got the defender on her hip, she was able to drive around and float it off the glass.
And we're going to get a hand check.
Oh, they called her for turning the ball over.
Yeah, carrying the ball from Molesky.
And again, that's an interesting switch on defense because Leininger is a taller player, but they put her on Molesky to try to disrupt her as the point guard. And boy, that strategy seems to have worked so far. It's still initial, but seems to have done the job.
And inside to Hedquist now. She double pumps, no good. Clark couldn't come up with it. Shoemaker does. Out to Leininger for 3. Nope.
Spotted that up well.
Yeah, nice job by Grace Dillingham to tip the ball to herself and put it up and in.
Dallas seems like they got a little more energy, and definitely on defense, that switch right now posing some problems for the Eagles. Wonder how much of that is out of necessity, trying to protect Hedquist, or if that is just a strategy that they felt like would work.
And they're going to give Clark the offensive foul as she just barreled through.
Yeah, that looked like a bowling alley. She went down and both players fell to the floor. Probably could have called a charge on either one of them. And
checking into the game for the
great job setting up for the block.
Caitlin Thomas.
Looks like Clark might be in foul trouble now as she comes off the floor. Dallas has wrestled back the lead and control of this game so far in the second half.
Unfortunately, we don't have the stats for lead changes, but it's been quite a few in this game alone.
Yeah, and that's been the story of the day. Just this tournament has been so hotly contested.
Hedquist hands it off to Sebring. Crosses left, 3-pointer up. Nope, off the right iron.
Yeah, she was fading a little bit to her left when she let go of that. If she could have squared up just a tad more and gone straight up on her shot, she was on line. It's definitely the plan. Priscilla Sebring was the Defensive Player of the Year in the Big South, and that's why they put her down on Nicholson. They'd given up so many buckets down low, they didn't have an answer, and right now her athleticism really seems to be bothering Nicholson.
They do work it down into Nicholson. She flips it up, no good. Dillingham with the rebound.
And even though she had a good shot there, everything she's doing, she's got to work really hard for. There's a lot of contact, there's some bumping, and Sebring really putting an impact on this game.
And it looked like as Taylor Thomas stole the ball, it looked like she might have got bumped by Sebring, but instead they're just going to say out of bounds on Thomas.
Yeah, Coach Guess put that bug in the ear of the refs, but they felt like it was a turnover.
And now they're going to call a foul on Thomas.
Wow. When you see both of those plays back to back, this feels very inconsistent. There's a little bit of bumping both ways, and they were letting that go, but then right there they get the call.
Underneath, off the backboard, and almost saved by MHEA, but it'll go back to the Thunder.
She was so open. But you almost needed Johnson from the Wildcats on that to be able to go up and dunk it in, but that was just too high. It hit the backboard, and Guess comes off of her fingers.
Yeah, maybe even Code from Grand Rapids, the slam dunk champion back-to-back years.
Absolutely.
Would have been a great alley-oop for him.
Picked up her dribble up top, and now we see MHEA. Nicholson putting some defensive pressure on Leininger.
In low to Shoemaker.
Boy, she kept her balance there. I don't know how she did that.
Hedquist denied. The ball will be driven by Sebring underneath to Shoemaker. A great pass, no good.
Too strong on the shot.
And the Eagles will control the ball.
That was a great pass. Sebring able to drive and find her teammate open under the basket, but then just too hard off the backboard.
Tough going so far in the game for both teams in the third quarter as we hit the 2.5-minute mark.
They both came out of a slugfest yesterday. Games both in the 30s.
And we're going to have a foul. And going to the line is Caitlin Thomas.
And that's where Coach Guest recognizing what Dallas was doing to try to take Nicholson out of the game. Well, he's got the two-headed monster because he can throw Thomas on the other block, and then she's got a smaller defender on her, and that time Thomas able to draw the foul. Mentioned yesterday, both teams in a slugfest in their final 4 games, as Thomas might be showing some fatigue from that earlier game there. Didn't even hit the rim, but they've been in some defensive struggles and been able to come out on top, both teams. And today, looks right now in this quarter like it's going to be the same kind of game.
Well, and like you mentioned, a lot of these players played earlier today as Thomas knocks it in, but there's just about 8.5 minutes left, and you're playing for the blue ribbon.
Yes.
The gold ball Undisputed National Championship.
Absolutely. Call it what you will. It's the best. You come out of this, and it's no arguments. You are the top of the mountain.
Up top to Hedquist. She fakes and drives. Nice Euro step and lays it up and in. What a move by Sierra Hedquist.
Yeah. She had to be aware that she didn't want to draw the charge there and was able to step around her defender, give her team a 3-point lead. MHEA going to try to feed back down low. Some battle inside. That time Nicholson able to battle through the tough physical defense by Sebring and put it over top.
Yeah, she's been winning a lot of those battles tonight. I'm amazed that they're allowing Nicholson to get that low in the post. We're going to have a foul on Thomas again.
Yeah, that time Dallas was set up. Jane Carr setting the pick for Sebring to be able to try to cut around her and drive into the lane, and the Eagle defender ran straight through Carr and was given the foul.
In for the Eagles, number 5, Camille Clark.
And Camille Clark will check in for Thomas.
Clark's so strong. Had she been the one to go through there could have been some damage. She is one tough player.
Hedquist will take the 3. Yes! My goodness. Sierra Hedquist. She's up to 16 points on the game.
They had an option there. They could have gone to Malone down low, but wisely chose Hedquist out top, and she drains the 3.
Makes it very tough when a player like Hedquist can do what she does in the post as well as knock down the 3-pointer.
Yep. You got to be able to guard 2 different facets of the game. Look for MHEA. They keep trying to work the ball down low. to either Thomas or Nicholson, and that time Guest drove and she was blocked. Looked like it was Malone that time.
Under a minute to play in the third quarter. I got to tell you, Scott, a lot of these ladies, these young ladies, look gassed.
Oh yeah, it's exhausting. Such a good tournament. So many close games, and like I said yesterday, they both were in a very physical, low-scoring affair, and so not only the number of games, but the type of games.
Second team foul in the half.
They are winded, but like you said, you just got to dig down deep. This is the last game of the year, and it's for all the marbles.
30 seconds to go. Molesky. Down low to Thomas. She lays it up. No, but she's fouled. That's going to be on Sebring, and Thomas is going to shoot 2.
Foul on number 10, Priscilla Sebring, her third foul of the second half for the Thunder. 2 shots for Julia Nicholson.
Oh, excuse me, Julia Nicholson, not Thomas.
Well, they play alike, and they look alike in a lot of ways. One of the ways that I could tell the difference in an earlier game was one had the 2 pigtails and one just had the 1. But it's so great when you're a coach and you don't just have one post player. You've got 2 that are able to kind of throw at the other team, and then you've got to pick your poison. Who are you going to put your best defender on, and that's going to open the other side. And when you make adjustments, then you see Nicholson able to get onto the free throw line, but missed him. This could be a big turnaround, Paul. They could have cut that lead down to 2. Instead, now Thunder have a chance to build their lead.
And that's going to be a foul on Clark. I'm not sure what she's protesting there. Her arm was all the way in the basket of Sebring.
She clapped her hands and said, "I got the ball." And I'm not disagreeing that she got the ball, but I think she got the ball and a hand. The official was right there and saw it.
Well, hand is part of the ball, right? Sometimes the whole arm, I guess.
That's right. That's what they used to teach us.
Hedquist on the drive. Splits between the defenders and lays it up and in.
Boy, she did a great job being able to avoid the contact there.
What a heave. No good.
Oh, Nicholson trying to connect.
So we head to the 4th and final period of play. The Dallas Thunder 34, MHEA Eagles 28. Back for the final 8 minutes right after this break on YouTube.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I train for something that should be impossible. When 8 seconds can change your whole life, it's not really about the seconds, it's about the hours. The hours that I spend preparing mentally and physically. It's about being the last one to quit, no matter how bad you hurt. If you dream of winning, you better be ready to earn it. Yes, you can.
All right, welcome back for the final 8 minutes of play. This is Paul Gilmore alongside Scott Staten. Steve Largent on the controls. He's going to be taking over the PA duties next, which we're pretty excited about.
Yeah, he's multi-talented, just like Colin Hill.
The dulcet tones of Steve Largent.
Oh, yeah.
He needs to read me to sleep at night. 7 minutes and 50 seconds to go, and that's going to be a turnover by Dallas Thunder. 6-point lead.
Careless pass there, and that's what you want. If you're MHEA, you're going to have to be able to have some extra possessions to chip away at this lead, or at least some stops. And that time, they get the unforced turnover by Dallas Thunder.
And the Thunder have been doing a great job as Camille Clark is able to get down low. Does not use the backboard, but she gets her rebound, and she's going to be fouled on the floor.
That time, you see the versatility. They didn't have to go to Nicholson or also to Thomas, but it was Camille Clark. She's so strong and athletic, able to get down low and work her magic inside the lane. Just fouled on the floor, though.
Nice drive, laid up and in by Taylor Thomas.
Coach Gass with a great drawn-up inbounds play and ended up with an easy 2.
And that's her first basket, but she's affected the game in so many other ways.
Yep.
Hedquist, she's been the MOP and MVP, whatever you want to call it so far.
Yep.
Misses that time. And that ball's going to be stolen and thrown away by Sebring.
That really hurts. They had a chance to cut the lead to 2, maybe even 1, and they throw the ball away. Unforced error. Sometimes fatigue does that.
I could imagine the pressure of playing in an Undisputed has something to do with it as well.
Yeah, just a little. You want your kids to treat it like any other game that you want to win, but they know what's at stake.
On the drive, Shoemaker, she lays it up, no good.
Yeah, forced it there. Should have taken it out or either tried to pass across the lane to Malone.
Thomas in the near corner. Gets it to Clark at the lane. Nice find underneath. Up and good.
Yep.
Nicholson.
Nicholson made herself available. She backed away, was aware of the spacing there, made herself available for the pass. An easy 2 for her, and all of a sudden the lead now for Dallas is 2.
Sebring kicks it in the corner. Big three-pointer is up and short. Rebound comes to Thomas.
Sebring had an open layup there if she wanted it, but decided to try to go for the money ball, and Malone could not connect.
This game has certainly been a game of swings, and right now it swings in the favor of MHEA.
Absolutely, 34-32, and chance to tie or take the lead. Wouldn't that be nice to have these kind of players? Yes, able to drive, blocked, great block inside, but she gets her own rebound.
Good pump fake. She's got to be careful about 3 seconds. Jumper is going to be up and no good. Too strong for Thomas. Clark rips it down. She takes it up and she's going to be fouled.
Yeah, when she gets the ball in the lane, she's going to the hole. And she's so good at drawing contact. She's so strong that sometimes she can even put it in off the glass.
Foul on number 2. Grace Dillingham, her 3rd.
Dillingham had done a great job on that initial drive by Guess and blocking it. But then Guess stayed active, got the rebound, and then the next shot she missed. Clark was right there to pull it in and force the contact.
She misses the free throws.
If you look down at this other end, Dillingham had come over to talk to her coach, and we talked about how Scarlett Guess has been given the task of guarding her. Well, she stays in her face even on timeouts when she comes to talk to her coach. She's just feet away from Coach Kendall with Dallas.
That's okay. Coach Kendall can coach both of them.
That's right.
You get 2 for the price of 1.
1 point game, Paul, just like every other game we've had so far. They're just so close today.
Sebring kicks it across the other side to Shoemaker. In and out. And we're going to have a foul that will keep the ball on this end of the floor. That's going to be on number 14. Oh, they give it to Nicholson, number 13.
Yeah, Nicholson that time was out of position and just swung at the ball to try to tip it out to her teammates, and the official called her for the foul.
Malone, jumper, no.
She's not been able to connect last 2 shots.
Nicholson rebound. Gets it to Molesky.
Just over 5 minutes to go, Paul, and this thing is definitely not decided. We're going to have an undisputed national champ that's either a 3-time in a row champion or a brand new champion.
Yeah, MHEA, one of the great dynasties of homeschool basketball, as all the way as Thomas, and she was fouled.
Yeah, they got ball there, but it also looked like they got the arm, and Thomas recognized the lane and kind of parted in the middle. She was able to drive down and find it within herself to have the speed burst there to get to the glass.
And now the Thunder are kind of having some problems finding the answers, defensively and offensively.
They are. It's like you said, it's been a game of runs. Its first shot, no good. Both teams throw a haymaker and build a 4, 5, 6 point lead, and then the other team quickly answers, which is championship DNA. Both teams just showing what they're made of. Some great talent, basketball smarts, and this one's going to go down to the wire.
Second free throw is good for Thomas.
Could we have our 3rd straight overtime game?
Man, what a great day for overtime games. Much to the chagrin of Rob Flatt.
Yeah, and the schedule keeper, for sure.
Hedquist working against a double team, kicks it across the other corner.
Nice scoop.
Malone. Hedquist thought about it. Good pump fake. She drives and lays it up. No good. Gets a rebound. Puts it up and is fouled. Oh, jump ball. Jump ball. I think a good call by the ref there as Hedquist was falling down. She kind of just threw it up there looking for some kind of call.
She did, and I think Clark was able to get her hand on the ball alertly, and that gets the tie up, and it'll go back to the Eagles, and now they've got a chance to take the lead with almost halfway through this last quarter.
Tough look from Clark inside to Nicholson, but tipped away by the Thunder.
Yeah, Sebring had position there, so you don't want to pass that bullet pass. If anything, you're going to lob that and hope that Nicholson, with her height, is able to pull that away. But Sebring's been so active on the defensive end. A great adjustment by the Thunder.
Inbounder is the one right under the basket. Molesky, no good for the Eagles. That's going to be tipped up and hit the underside of the rim, but it's going to stay there as the ball was tipped out by Malone.
That time Shoemaker ended up with the ball, and she was directly under the basket and tried to somehow jump and swing it around, but unable to do so.
Ball is inbounded to Clark. Underneath to Nicholson, who's got Sebring on her, and she puts it up and in. Wow, tough basket for Julia Nicholson.
Such a strong post player. Sebring tried to deny the ball, but couldn't stop that shot.
And now the Eagles are on a run that Dallas has not been able to find an answer for, and they lead 36-34. And that's going to be thrown out of bounds off the hands of Hedquist.
Yeah, Sebring, it was a good idea, but when you're that close, too much mustard on the ball, and it just shot through Hedquist's hands and out of bounds.
So more than halfway through the final period of play, still a one-possession game. The Eagles leading 36-34 in the girls 18 and under Undisputed National Championship.
Opening up the lane, look for Nicholson to post up, or Clark. Dribble the ball around and try to feed her inside.
They are really trying to get the ball down into Nicholson as much as they can.
They know Hedquist is in foul trouble. She's got to be careful.
Nicholson has been the person of interest in this fourth quarter so far.
Yeah, she had the game-winning free throw yesterday. It was a tie game with less than 20 seconds to go, and they fed Nicholson down low, and she was able to drive and draw the foul, hit 1 out of 2 free throws.
If you are in the
And then the Eagles were able to come away with a 1-point win, and then right now we're seeing in this fourth quarter she is taking over. They can't stop her. Dallas had put Sebring on her. They've got her resting right now. I think she had expended so much energy, they had to give her a little bit of a rest, and now Nicholson is taking advantage of that. You can see it's very on purpose. Every time the Eagles get the ball, they look inside first, try to feed it. If she can get a shot off, she will. If not, she'll kick it back out, and sometimes they'll drive the lane or try to pop a jump shot.
So now we have the Thunder are going to try and figure out what they're going to do for the final 3 minutes and 28 seconds. They've got to find some answers in a hurry, as it is a 4-point lead now for the Eagles in what was a Thunder 4-point lead.
Yeah.
Just a moment ago.
Momentum has totally changed. We've seen it's been a game where there's been lots of momentum changes. You know, right now, you got to dig deep because your legs, even though your birth certificate might say you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, you feel like a senior citizen because they're just so tired from all these games, and you still got to keep digging in deep and somehow come up with the energy level these last 3.5 minutes to try to win this game.
They could probably use some real-time pain relief.
Absolutely. Well, they were given samples, so I'm sure they're using them on the sidelines if they need to.
That ball nearly tipped and stolen away. Eagles playing so actively now as the Thunder are swinging the ball around.
They can taste it. They've seen a lot of them, their bigger sisters, win titles, undisputed championships, and they know right now they just got to ratchet up the energy level, stay really tough on defense these next 3 minutes, and they can be the third in a row.
So we've hit the 3-minute mark. Eagles still leading by 4, 38-34. And they're going to call a travel on that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing her knee hit the court, or what led to that being a travel?
Yeah, that's what I was watching. An official did. He pointed at his knee and said, "Your knee touched," and then you stood back up. If she had not touched the knee, she would have been fine. Eagle faithful all standing up now. They can sense it. They've seen this up close and personal before. They're girls. This time, unexpectedly, about to win an undisputed title if they can hold on to this lead.
Clark drives the lane. Jumper's good.
She recognized that the lane was open. Drove, and nice touch there on the floater. 6-point lead now with 2:22 to go.
Hedquist, baseline jumper, good.
Wow.
They desperately needed that shot.
Nicholson was right in her face, too, and she was able to drop it still from there and to cut the lead to 4. 2 minutes to go. Dallas Thunder fans now trying to urge their team to play defense here.
On the drive, Taylor Thomas too strong.
Good board work by Dillingham. Here comes Sebring, a chance to cut the lead in half or down to 1.
Turnaround jumper, no good for Shoemaker.
Looked like she had a chance there. Carr was working down low, had the ball over on the wing, and then drove and unable to make things happen. And that time, foul on Leininger.
Araceli Leininger. Her first personal.
So 1-and-1 situation for Taylor Thomas going to the free throw line. Essentially now if the Eagles can play keep away for 93 seconds, then they've got a third straight undisputed.
Yeah, the Memphis fans, they're used to this. They've been able to look at the Thunder's adjustment on defense. They've answered that. Great move by Coach Guess. He was able to see and insert in that lineup where he had the two-headed monster with Martin and Nicholson. And then truly Nicholson in this quarter has, even when she's not been scoring, they've had to double team. They've had to just be aware of her, and that's opened the lane a couple times. Clark hit a floater, and MHEA recognizing where the openings are in this defense and able to work around it. And when you got players like Nicholson and you've got experience like Clark, these kids that have been around and won these championships, it's amazing to me, Paul, that they won a 16U game that was hotly contested. I believe it was a one-point game earlier this morning. And then they're able to come back in this environment, packed house, for the 18U, knowing that the two classes before them won the Undisputed, and they had a chance to do something, and I believe it's only been done once, maybe twice in the past with Lubbock Titans and maybe Thesa when they were having their run in homeschool basketball. But just an amazing, amazing tournament for these gals. They were probably underrated coming into this tournament because people knew how much they lost last year. Not that they're not good, but they lost so much with the senior class. But here they are again on the verge of a third straight Undisputed.
Well, you had mentioned it earlier. They in the tip-off tournament, they lost to Indy.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, they didn't win the region, did they?
No, they didn't even make it to the championship game. They were beaten by Cincinnati Trailblazers in the Midwest semifinals.
Thomas is able to knock that one down. 6-point lead. A minute and a half to go. Dallas is going to have to come up with some quick points.
Yeah, don't have to have 3 here, but you got to have a quick 2.
Good looking jumper from Shoemaker, no good.
Nicholson cleans
Nicholson
the board.
gets the rebound, and she's going to be shooting some free throws.
Yeah, points have been hard to come by here, and when you look at a 6-point deficit with a minute 19 to go in this kind of game, the level of defense, the energy from MHEA, you have to think this is really going to be tough to make a comeback on.
Nicholson at the line. First one is up and good.
She's so solid. We mentioned she had the game-winning free throw yesterday, and today trying to seal this victory for her team.
Second one short. Sebring the rebound. She'll come the other way. And that's going to be a foul on Thomas.
Well, I like Thomas is drawing some fouls here, but those are good fouls because she's making it so difficult on Sebring to run their offense. A couple of times there, the spacing just not really good for Dallas. Players running into each other and very disruptive. Good closeout by Molesky.
It looks like we're going to have another foul in the corner. That's going to be on Nicholson.
Now, this is what you don't want because if you're MHEA, now when you foul, you put them on the free throw line, and that gives Dallas a chance to cut the lead with no time coming off the clock. Now, Dallas will have to convert here. It looks like they're going to do some of the offensive-defensive substitutions as they pull Hedquist out so they can foul. But it's going to be a free throw shooting contest right now.
First free throw is no good as Clark secures the rebound. Nearly stolen away, and it is by the Thunder. Three-pointer is going to be up and no good. Rebound Clark, and she's going to be fouled right away.
Oh, she's so strong. After the whistle was blown, she was not about to let that ball be ripped away from her. And as Sebring tried to challenge, this is mine. And it looks like that's almost how they're treating this Undisputed championship run when you think about it. It's ours. We're not giving this up. They came into this tournament, a lot of people thinking they were not one of the top 3 teams to really be the favorites, and boy, they just came in and showed who they were and starts to dance on the free throw line.
I was going to say, things are starting to settle in for both teams as Dallas Thunder are coming to the realization that their magical run might be over as well.
Official asked her to maybe tone it down, just a little nice move, but it was pure joy, not trying to show up the other team, but she's excited. This is one of their most unlikely titles. It's been neat that Ashley Carson has been an assistant. She was a key player on last year's Undisputed. She's been an assistant this year, and having that in the locker room also helps to be able to help these girls to know how to win a championship, how to dig deep when you're tired, how you're to win when you're late into a tournament. And wow, what a game. A team effort. It took all of them. They definitely went through Nicholson, but it's been Clark, it's been Molesky, it's been Martin, it has been Guess. What a great, great game by MHEA.
Rebounded by Clark. As we approach 30 seconds to go, we have a 9-point game, and we've got a hard foul. Kind of hard to see with the fan standing in front of us, but it seems like Clark was fouled pretty hard, and they're going to give an intentional foul.
Yeah, she asked for it when she got up, and you could tell the official was weighing it in his mind and felt like it was too much. Too much to just be an intentional foul that was not flagrant. Knocked her to the floor.
Personal foul. 10th team foul.
And now this is basically the only time that Scarlett Guess hasn't been in the face of the girl she's defending. They pull them off because of the technical and
to shoot the foul shots.
Wow, it's that kind of intensity and that kind of a determination that has made such a huge difference in this game. They have never backed off.
And that's going to be short from Clark. She'll get another one before the Eagles get the ball back. Well, she got intentionally fouled, so that's a technical, so she'll get the technical free throws and then the personal foul free throws. Is that correct?
Not sure, because that one was an air ball.
I guess not. I guess the Eagles will take it from the side.
Yeah, it could, I believe you're right, and it could have gone that way, but us not being able to be down there and ask the refs, I'm not really sure what that call was, why they didn't get that.
And now Hedquist is going to bump Nicholson.
9-point lead, 32.5 seconds to go.
And Hedquist has had a great game, 20 points for her in this Undisputed National Championship game.
Yeah, and she's really been most of what they had, over half of their points. Not able to she's had to play, even with that 20, if you can have a quiet 20, she's had to be so careful with the foul trouble and hasn't gotten a ton of help. Keep leaving the door open, though. MHEA's got to convert those free throws.
I was going to say, if you think about how much the Thunder would love to have those free throws back that they've missed on those 1-and-1s.
Yep.
They would have 4 more points right now. Be a little bit of a different outlook.
Absolutely. They're taking so long to get to a shot.
Hedquist, no good. And that'll stay with the Thunder. But unfortunately, about 30 seconds came off the clock.
Yeah. I think it's inevitable now. You're going to have a 3-time Undisputed National Championship by MHEA back to back to back as they start to bring in the bench.
And classy move by Coach Guess as he's going to take out the major players, allow some of those other players, younger ladies perhaps, to get revel in the glory. Hedquist 3, air ball. And that's going to be controlled by the Eagles. And ole, ole, ole. Congratulations to Memphis. Your team is coming home as champions.
45-36, and probably their most unlikely in this 3-year run. What a testament to this program. They lose their head coach. As she moves on to the college ranks, they lose 6 seniors who were so instrumental in the first 2. And yet, as much as things change, they stay the same. It is MHEA on top of the girls' basketball homeschool world.
So congratulations to both teams, particularly the Thunder, for making it this far as well and giving us a great game. But it is MHEA with the three-peat of the Undisputed National Champions. Coming up next, we've got some boys 18U action. The Illinois Crew And the Oklahoma City Storm, which is also a three-peat, except this time not in the Undisputed. But congratulations to everybody in Memphis. From Paul Gilmore and Scott Staten, we'll see you next time on YouTube.
Undisputed.